Hi, my name is Steven and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. This video is going to cover how we like A-plus content and brand stores built. My Amazon Guy is an agency. We help clients. We'll have lots of requests that come in. This sheet in front of us right here is an example of a work queue. So we'll put it into a Google Sheet. We'll have the brand client name on the left, the date at which the request came in, the activity that needs to be done. So for example, we have a client that needs to build a brand store page, and we'll list it here. Sometimes there are challenges with getting the brand store or A+, like a brand registry issue. Sometimes we're waiting on the client to review or provide assets, and so we'll track that accordingly. Um, so I'm going to show you next kind of some examples of work we've liked and how we've done it. So this is a brand called Momster. You can see some A+ content here. You'll notice that there's a lot of text. We really like to have lots of text into the A+ content. Sometimes that is difficult when there's not a lot of text to work with from the client. My request to you as you build A+ content is to request things that you don't feel like you have enough of and get as much assets from the client. If you don't have enough to work with, my request to you is to make do with what you can and just come up with something. So you may need to pull copy from the bullets or the title or the ASIN at large. So if I was to go to one of these products that this A+ content is on, you could pull from the title information here, you could pull from the bullets, maybe they've got a graphic or something that you can see here that might help you make some of those decisions. I have several guides that I will provide with written explanation on some things that we like. Anytime you do A+ content, it's very important that we have a product grid. This doesn't apply to a client that has less than 1 or 2 products, but you can see here this client has 5 unique glasses, and you can see that these photos are sized correctly so they don't cut off. Every time you upload a photo, it's also very important that you apply keywords behind them. I will have written explanation on that, but if you were to inspect element here, in the alt text, when you go to load it, you'll see that the alt text clearly says, winos woman in need of sanity, funny stemless wine glass for her friend, woman, girlfriend, mom, wife. We will train you on how we like keywords applied and all the information. In this product grid comparison, sometimes there's not a lot of differences between the products that you'll put into the product chart. If you're trying to debate on which products to select for the product chart, go to their business reports and look at their top sellers. So you could go to the reports, business reports, and then go to the top 3 or 5 products. Another way you could do it is say, hey, I'm gonna create an A+ concept that has one from each category. So let's say the client has 4 or 5 different random products. Maybe they've got a scarf, a glass, maybe they have other products outside of those categories, maybe a food. Maybe you'll just put into the product grid one of each just to show, hey, this is our brand at large, and to compare and contrast that. Ideally, though, if the client has a deep category like this one does in glass, you can show different variations and compare and contrast. Other clients might have like a small, medium, large, or a good, better, best. So you can compare and contrast like the features between them. We do want to take up as much space as possible with our A+ content, so put in a big banner. Do use the logo slot, get as much text in as possible. When you're doing any text, if you put the text into a graphic or if you put the text in like this, we ask that you run it through a spell check. So copy and paste this into a Word doc or a Google doc and run a spell check. If you provide any typos, that is a very big problem and won't be tolerated. The graphic choices and some of the editing on those graphics is up to you. We'll defer to your creative expertise. We want you to use the full 5 modules that you're capable of using. How you design and do that is up to you, but we do want some text outside of banners. That is important. That helps SEO. Every photo will have 100 characters of alt text. I'm going to go ahead and go into the back end of one of these to explain that further. I'm going to hit edit. So when you go to load a photo, no matter what photo you load, there's a slot for image keywords here. This needs to be completely filled out with 100 characters. It's very important. All right, so I'm going to turn my attention over to the storefront. So let's go to, so we'll go to this one. This is not my favorite storefront, but it gives you kind of a small example. This is a very basic one. All we've done is just load product. I want to do better than this. I do like this banner here. We do not need to make multiple sub pages, but if it makes sense, if you think one or two sub pages would make sense, right? So like for example, this this is a sub page for all the gourmet food. This is a sub page for all the glassware. We don't need to necessarily make big dedicated pages like this for each individual product. So just one home page and maybe one or two sub pages is fine if you think that it's up to you on how you do that. Whatever you think will best represent the brand. Let me see if I can think about a good store. So maybe a Funkaway. Go to Funkaway here. So on this one, you can see, hey, it's got a nice top banner. There's a video. You can play that. Sometimes clients will provide videos. And then we've got big graphics. These are all fine. This looks good. You do not need to worry about keywords for the brand store page, but you do need to set the meta description. The meta description is done at a stage when you're first opening up the brand store page. Please fill in 2 to 3 sentences that describe the brand there. That will help them. You'll also notice that there's a vanity URL up here. When the store first goes live, sometimes that vanity URL is not set. You'll see like a super long URL. If you see that, please ticket Amazon and say, hey, I'd like you to set my vanity URL to amazon.com/my brand name. In this case, it's Momster. We also have several documents like checklists to run through when we're trying to build storefronts. So I'm going to pull up one of these. So here's an example of a checklist for A+ content. We want them to provide you, the designer, a logo, any information about banners, assets they might have, and preferences and products to focus on. But many times this information is not provided, and we want you to guess and do your very best at what would work based on the assets they do provide. So just make sure you're aware of that. So yeah, as a next step, I'd like you to create a test project with us, and we'll send over those requirements. The way we do logins for Seller Central is we will give you access to one of our logins called Amazon@myamazonguy.com, and we will provide you the password. The 2-step code will be provided via Gmail, and it will automatically email you through an email. And that way you can log in. In that account, you're going to see a merchant picker where you can choose merchant and switch between the accounts. We do have quite a few of them that we have access to. Sometimes the name of what's on your sheet will not perfectly match the merchant picker. We do our very best to make sure that they do match, but sometimes they don't. If you have any questions, if you can't find an account, just let us know. Thank you very much.